Halfway through our Monday night game, this is Gujarat taking on Hyderabad. Williamson's side asking Gujarat to bat first. We were not quite sure what could be a good total, but let's put it on the board and then get to our panel to analyze it. This is where they finished off 162 for 7. You can call it a GT total or you can call it an MV total. We like to call it a Michael Vaughan total here on Cricbuzz Live. So without further ado, let's go to our panel and go to the man himself. Michael, you have this theory in place about the 160, but from your point of view, you'd be jumping up and down. But what will Gujarat, you reckon, feel about it?
I must state, it's not my theory. It's my little team's theory down here. They just sit in the corner and they just give me information every now and again. They're very knowledgeable, these guys that sit in the corner of my room. They don't speak, they don't communicate that often, but every now and again they come up with the odd gem. I think it's very competitive. I think it's a fantastic cricket wicket. A bit of pace. There's a little bit there for the spinner as well if you bowl nicely, but also as a batter, if you get in, you can play some glorious strokes. I thought that combination of those two deliveries that Umran Malik bowled to Hardik Pandya, one, the chin music first and foremost, and then that cover drive, that punch through extra cover. That was high-class cricket. Fielding generally wins games. And the Sunrisers fielding tonight was appalling. There's not many T20 teams win games when you field like that. So I think it's very competitive.
Yeah, pretty regulation stuff that was put down. But Harsha, just looking at it, 80 in the first half, 7 wickets in hand, 44 in at the slog phase of the innings. That's something that will disappoint them, unless, of course, they go on to win and it was a winning total.
Yeah, 82 in the back in the back 10. Hardik's innings I thought was interesting. I thought the first 60-70% of Hardik's innings was very, very high class. The captain going in himself, taking on the pace of Umran Malik. He didn't get the finishing kick. So I'm just looking at the numbers. And I think, as Abhinav Manohar said in the post-innings interview, the idea was that Manohar goes for it and Hardik bats in the end. But the best finisher in that side is Hardik, even better than Tewatia in my book. And he never got that finishing kick. So maybe the idea that he would bat through was all right, but he just didn't get enough strike towards the end. And that is where I think they might have lost about 10. Hardik is not a 50 or 42 balls batsman. So that is one thing that struck me. It was any other number 4, most days you take that. But with Hardik, I expected a finishing kick. But he found himself at the non-strikers end too often. I think he played something like 10 balls in that partnership with Abhinav Manohar. So he didn't have enough of the strike towards the end.
I know you're impressed by his captaincy and his initiative, Michael, but does he need to have a split personality? Do there need to be 2 Hardiks out there? One that bats at 4 because he wants to, and then he maybe swaps a bat, gets the other guy out, puts on the cape, and comes and finishes an innings.
I think we've got to wait and see because I think it's very competitive. I think he read the situation. I look at Rajasthan yesterday when they were in a little bit of a position and managed to get to that score and they defended it. They sent a message to me that Rajasthan are a team that are going to be really competing this year because they showed a skill level and a mindset that necessarily over the last few years we haven't seen. This is a new franchise and this is a franchise led by a new captain. I think he's got his team to a decent score and I think he probably could have gone and tried to get the 180, 190, but it would have been him taking a risk around 14, 15. He might have got out and they might have got to 145, 150. I think he thought, you know what, with this bowling attack that I have, I think I'll take the 162. And if it means that I'm probably 10 light, I still think with the bowling in the field, and we field anything like, I think he'll fancy his chances of winning another game tonight.
Interesting stat, Harsha. I've just popped onto the Cricbuzz archives. Slowest 50 in the tournament for Hardik Pandya. The last time he got one in a similar fashion, Mumbai were chasing 168. Rohit Sharma first ball dark. Ishan Kishan first ball dark. Surya Kumar failed. So he was basically doing a rescue act chasing and he got 50 or 42 on that day.
With different circumstances because you can understand he was chasing 2018 wasn't a great year for Mumbai Indians either. I don't know. Michael's theory could be interesting. Did Hardik play for 160? If Hardik's idea was that I'm playing for 160, I think 160 is good enough for my side. If Abhinav Manohar, Tewatia get off and we make it 170, that's great. Then it's a really good number 4 innings. But 160, I don't know. I heard commentators say a little bit of dew. It's a good bowling side, and I think Sunrisers were growing as a bowling side. I think starting to come into their own as a bowling side have shown you can keep sides down to 160. It's that total that keeps you on the edge of your seat, doesn't it? It's a total that at the halfway mark you say, "Oops, I want to see what's happening because I don't know what's going to happen." It's not the best batting side in the tournament, by the way, the Sunrisers.
Yeah, ironically, Michael, it's probably the opposition. If we think back to a couple of years ago, we would associate this approach with Hyderabad. They would go out there, put on a 145 even, not go too hard for 170 and say, listen, that's enough for our bowlers. Rashid Khan plus Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Sid Kaul, whoever it was in their lineup that day.
Yeah, and I guess Rashid Khan, he might be saying to the batters, just get me a number. Get me something close to par and I'll do the rest. And so will Lockie Ferguson, Shami, the skipper himself. I think I always look at fielding in T20 cricket, and if the Sunrisers had fielded anything like that, score would have been 145. The bowling also at the start was poor. So if you get your basics right, and I think if the Gujarat Titans come out and get their basics right, so hit heavy length, don't give too many extras like we saw from the Sunrisers, take the catches. I'm not talking about 50-50 catches. I'm talking about 95% catches. I reckon they're going to have enough. If they lose their discipline and they lose their lines and lengths and they lose the basics of the game, of course the Sunrisers will have a great chance. But I just think if they cover the basics really well, they should have enough in the tank to be able to defend this total.
Have a look at the Hyderabad bowling, Harsha, and see how we can assess that. Umran Malik's had a very typical Umran Malik type of spell, close to 10 runs and over, picked up a wicket today. But again, Washington Sundar was good, didn't get an opportunity for his fourth over. But what about Natarajan? Those figures could have looked a little better.
And how many times in an innings and especially innings of 162, do you get 15 runs coming off 3 sets of wides? So that's 15 offered to them. And
should I ask my little friend how many times has that happened? Never.
No, never.
No, he says never.
Yeah, but look at that bowling side. Bhuvi looks like he is coming back to the Bhuvi that we know. That 4 overs 37 includes 17 of the first over. So they've got a quality swing bowler who can come back at the death. They've got this tall left-hander who's he'll hit the middle overs, may not be ready yet to bowl at the death, but he won't concede too many. One bowler of searing pace, one quality off-spinner will bowl in the power play, and a death specialist. So it's actually now starting to come together. This is only game 4 for the Sunrisers. The attack is starting to come together. Added against them is maybe a little more skillful attack with Lockie and Shami and Rashid. So if this attack could keep it down to 160, I think it's a par score. But if the dew comes in, maybe just a little bit in favor of Sunrisers. Actually, I don't know. Can you edit what I just said? I don't know. Because I look at that, I look at that batting and I'm not sure. I'm not convinced about the batting. With both sides, you could have edit.
Well, that's the beauty of it being live. You could take your comment back, or we could reassess it at a later time. We could save that clip.
I can't even say I was misquoted. I can't even say most. I can't even misquoted it there.
But just looking at, you mentioned briefly Umran Malik about hitting the helmet and then getting hit for 4. It's something that he'll want to address himself. We saw 126 come in at just one ball. Everything else was 150, 152, 153. One slower ball in there. But otherwise, even an inexperienced batsman like Abhinav Manohar saw, okay, this is too quick for me. Let me just stick my bat out and I get 4 for it.
Yeah, and also with pace, you need a cricket brain of trying to, still surprise the batter. You go to that drive down through extra cover from next ball. He knew it was going to be slightly short and he played a magnificent pull shot. I think that's where he'll have to do a lot of learning and have to bring a few more variations, a few more slow balls. But, you wouldn't mind working with someone that can bowl 150 kilometres an hour. That's first and foremost. If you've got a bowler that can bowl that quickly, you've got a real potent weapon that you can work with. So he's a real prospect. He's 22. I like his action. Clearly, he's got a long way to go in terms of experience and bringing a few more deliveries to his game. But, India have got another quick bowler. Your stock is rising.
Yeah, we mentioned that
maybe
yesterday.
not this October. This October, you think?
Australia, you need pace.
T20.
You need pace. I mean, he'd have to have an outstanding IPL. He's doing okay at the minute, but that pace is something that all attacks around the world, whether you're playing domestic or internationally, it's what gets the opposition batters just starting to dance around a bit. And as captains, you want that kind of bowler in your ranks. I don't think he's good enough at the minute to go into an Indian squad. There's too much depth there, but I'm sure we'll see him over the next few years.
Well, then I won't ask.
I just wonder if he's good. He's better playing. Yeah, I just wonder if he's better playing 50 overs at the moment, where he's got a little more support. He'll have few more overs in the field out. Maybe the ball will. I know it's only 25 overs each side, but maybe the ball might reverse a bit on some hard grounds. He might bowl better there. But I've got my old theory. Just call up Dale Steyn and say, I know the Sunrisers are paying you. Here's a little bit more. Look after our kid.
I'll give you a solution. He's the kind of young bowler that should come and play county cricket.
Yeah, but they'll bowl him 20 overs a day every day, won't they?
No, he's the kind of young bowler. I'll say it again. India should send some of these young quicks to bowl in the UK. It gets their bodies used to bowling, playing 4-day cricket. Then you play a T20 game. Then you play a 50-over game. So you're playing all the different formats quite quickly. Here is a great schooling for particularly overseas quicks, because they will get looked after. And the BCCR will be able to stipulate he's only allowed a certain amount of times of bowling. But he's the kind of young bowler that I think could really make best use of coming over here and playing a bit of cricket.
Yeah, and the stipulation from India is that you just don't play T20 leagues. So there's a lot of Indians who've gone across in recent times. Ashwin has, Pujara has, last year Hanuma Vihari did. So they've gone and played there. So I don't think that should be an issue, actually.
Ishant Sharma briefly went down and played
came back a different bowler.
Yeah,
came back a different bowler.
Yeah.
So there you go. We've started the conversation here. Maybe, Michael, you can get on the phone.
I know there'll be a few counties that wouldn't mind someone bowling 150 kilometres an hour. And there'll be a few batters in the county system that'll be going, oh, no, thank you. And also, for our development of our test batters, we need our players to be facing that kind of quality and pace. Yeah. So bring him over.
All right.
There's a Pakistan bowler of similar pace who's a little above his level at the moment because he's already played test cricket. Naseem Shah, who's playing county cricket this year.
Yeah, and I've seen him up close in the Caribbean. He's adapted well to T20 cricket, and he's the kind of person who was crying out for county cricket. Remember his debut against Australia in very tough conditions, but he made them hurry up. So that's a good wrap for Umran Malik. But for the moment, it's going to be Umran Malik's batsmen, his colleagues, who are going to have to try and chase this down. Quick one, because the match is almost underway. We expect runs from Williamson, or certainly Sunrisers would. Puran as well. What a good day it was for it to please his mate, because I'm sure, Harsha, Shimron Hetmyer would have been on the phone to him.
And as we said right at the start, is this Puran the West Indies player or Puran the IPL player? Last year, Puran averaged 7.75 in the IPL. So which Puran are we getting here? Because the Puran who plays for the West Indies is a very good middle overs player. He'll be like Hardik. He'll come in at number 4 and he'll provide you a powerful finish. They need that. They need Williamson at the top. But I still think the guy who provides them that dash is Rahul Tripathi. He's done that twice in 3 games already. So if Abhishek and Rahul are taken early, then the Titans have a chance.
Well, let's just go with a prediction at this point in time. Your score was dead on. Are you still thinking that Hardik Pandya and company have done enough?
I think they'll defend it, yeah.
All right, fair enough. We'll stick to that. Brief as it was.
Let me try. Let me try Michael's. They're saying no. Maybe 10 short.
10 short.
Maybe. All right, then. That's it. We've got 2 schools of thought here, but that's why we enjoy all our stimulating conversation. For now, it's Kane Williamson with his trusted lieutenant Abhishek Sharma out there. Good bowling attack for Gujarat. Can they defend this? Looks below par, but you can add 10 runs for the quality of their attack. It's going to be fun in games. 10th over, Cricbuzz Combox will see you for now on Cricbuzz Live from Michael, Harsha and myself. That's all we have.